Hey there everybody, we're into mid-October and that means playoff baseball. Right now, the Washington Nationals have secured their spot in the World Series and the Yankees and the Astros are battling it out to see who will represent the American League. So I thought I'd do a baseball World Series replay from 1986, and I'm going to be doing it over 4 different gaming systems or board game systems if you want to call it that. Game 1 is going to be on Strat-o-matic. Game 2 is going to be APA. Game 3 will be Status Pro. And Game 4 will be History Maker Baseball. And then if it goes to 5, 6, and 7, we'll replay or reboot. Strat-o-matic will be Game 5. APA will be Game 6. And if it's necessary for a Game 7, it would be Status Pro. All right, so 1986, one of the more famous World Series. Let's look at the starting lineups for Game 1. You can see Wade Boggs, Marty Barrett, Bill Buckner, Jim Rice, Dwight Evans, Rich Gedman, Dave Henderson, Spike Owen, and Bruce Hurst. There's no DH in the 1986 World Series. The pitchers will hit. So on Strat-o-matic, we have the generic pitcher hitting cards, and both pitchers will be using pitcher hitting card number 1. What I've also done with this lineup card is showing you who is on the bench for both teams as well as the bullpen. So the Red Sox have Mike Greenwell, the only lefty on the bench. And then they have Don Baylor, Tony Armas, Dave Stapleton, Ed Romero, and Mark Sullivan also on their bench. In the bullpen, they have Joe Sambito and Tim Lawler, 2 lefties. And then they have 4 right-handers, Steve Crawford, Bob Stanley, Sammy Stewart, and Calvin Schiraldi. For the Mets, it'll be Mookie Wilson, Dykstra, Keith Hernandez, Gary Carter, Darryl Strawberry, Ray Knight, Tim Tuffle, Rafael Santana, and Ron Darling, the starter. On the bench for the Mets will be lefty Danny Heap, right-handers Kevin Mitchell and Ed Hearn, and then switch hitters Wally Backman, Lee Mazzilli, and Howard Johnson. In their bullpen, it'll be 2 lefties, Randy Neiman and Jesse Orozco, 3 righties, Rick Aguilera, Roger McDowell, and Doug Sisk. So like I said, Game 1 will be Strat-o-matic, advanced rules only, because that's what these cards are for. They are not rated for super advanced. So we'll bring in the score sheet and we'll get ready to go. Got the charts right here for the advanced, both the advanced fielding and advanced runner advancement, including stealing. Let's go ahead and bring in Ron Darling, and on the 86 season, he was 15-6 with a 2.81 ERA. So Ron Darling gets the nod in Game 1, and he's going to be facing, to start out, Wade Boggs. So Wade Boggs is going to lead it off for the Red Sox against Ron Darling. Again, advanced only, so D20 will only be rolled when needed. Will not be rolled every single time like it is in advanced. Like it is in super advanced. So we are ready to go. Let's bring the score sheet down a little bit so when Boston bats, you have a better chance of seeing their score sheet. Ron Darling, the righty, against Boggs, the lefty. And we are ready to go here. Game 1 of the 1986 World Series is now underway. Got a 4-7, so that's Darling against the lefty. 4-7 is a ground ball, second base X. Second baseman for the Mets is Tuffle. He's a 4E21, so not very good. So we roll this D20 and we get a 15. So we go over here to the second base chart, the advanced chart. A 4 and a 15. He will make the play, however. 4 and a 15 is a ground ball C. So it is a good play made by Tim Tuffle. Got a break on the high D20 roll. That helped him out. So 1 down, and that'll bring up Marty Barrett, second baseman. 1-9 against the right-hander Darling. It's a ground ball to short, handled by Santana. And there's 2 up, 2 down here in the first for the Red Sox. And that'll bring up the infamous Bill Buckner. 6-3, Darling against the lefty. 6-3 will be a walk, so Bill Buckner reaches base, first batter to do so for either team. Of course, the Mets are not batting yet, so first Red Sox man to get on. For the cleanup man, left fielder Jim Rice. And Buckner is certainly not going to steal. He's not even going to be held. 6-6 for Darling against a right-hander. 6-6. 1-17 is a single with 1 star. 18-20 is a line out to Santana. To 13, so it's a base hit. Buckner stops at second with the 1 star advance. And so now the Red Sox have a 2-out rally. Runners at first and second. 2 outs for Dewey Evans. Dwight Evans' chance to break through for the Sox. It's a 1-7, but he strikes out against the right-hander. So Ron Darling gets the strikeout and gets out of the jam. Nothing doing for the Sox after a walk and a hit. We go to the bottom of the first. It is the Red Sox nothing and the Mets coming to bat. And on the mound for the Red Sox will be Bruce Hurst. And on the 86th season, he was 13-8 with an ERA of 2.99. So lefty Bruce Hurst. You're looking off that lefty column off the batter's cards. And Mookie Wilson will lead things off for the Mets. Switch hitter batting right-handed. 2-11 against Hurst. That's a ground ball to short, handled by Spike Owen. And that's 1 down. So Mookie is gone. Here's Lenny Dykstra, nails. Center fielder. Lefty on lefty, 1-7. And he's going to strike out. So Hurst gets one in there and gets it by Dykstra. 2 up, 2 down, and that's going to bring up another left-hander, Keith Hernandez, first baseman. Hernandez, lefty on lefty against Hurst. 2-8 against the lefty. That's a base hit, so Hernandez doesn't care about the lefty-righty. He gets the base hit. 2-out single for Hernandez. He is an E-stealer. He will not be held, and he will certainly not try to steal. Gary Carter, the kid, cleanup position, 5-5 off of Hurst, and he's doing some damage. 1-4 is a triple. 5-20 is a single, 2 stars. So 1-4, the Mets lead it. It's a 10, so it's a single. 2 stars. Hernandez was motored to third. Runners are at the corners with 2 outs. And it's a straw man, Darryl Strawberry, stepping to the plate, looking to do damage. Lefty on lefty against Bruce Hurst. 6-3 for Hurst. And that is a single to left field. Now there's a little upside down triangle if we were using ballpark effects, but I'm not doing that. I'm strictly going advanced. So it will be a single to left field for Strawberry, and the Mets break on top 1-0. Hernandez will score. Carter will stop at second base with the ball to left field. They're not going to take any kind of chances. Mets lead at 1-0 on the RBI single for Darryl Strawberry. And next up, that'll bring up Nancy Lopez's husband, otherwise known as Ray Knight. 5-4 against a right-hander. 5-4 is an in-home run chance, and Ray Knight against lefties does have normal power. So 1-3 would be a home run. 4-20 is a double, and it could clear the bases because Strawberry is not being held as a trail runner, and he runs very well. It's an 11, so that's a double for Mr. Knight. It's a double for Knight, and I'm pretty sure that's going to clear the bases. We know Carter's going to score from second. That's a given on a double. Strawberry, 17 as a run rating. He's not being held, so that makes it an 18. There are 2 outs. That makes it a 20 because you add 2 for the 2 outs. And then the ball is assumed to go to center field. Henderson is a -2 arm in center, so that drops into an 18. So a 1-18, he'll make it. And he does. So it is a 2-run double for Ray Knight. And the Mets break through for 3 here in the first off of Bruce Hurst, all with 2 outs. Hurst got the first 2, no issues. And then the floodgates seem to open. Here's Tim Tuffle with Knight at second and 2 outs. 3-9 against a lefty. And that's a 1-16 single, but only 1 star, so it wouldn't score the run, but would keep the inning going. 17-20 lines to short. That's a base hit. So Tuffle keeps the train moving. Knight stops at third. Runners at the corners, 2 outs for the number 8 hitter, Rafael Santana. And John McNamara might have to go to his bullpen early as Hurst is struggling. Maybe it's the jitters of the World Series. Here's Santana, 6-8. Struck him out, so Hurst comes back to strike out Santana. But the Mets drop a field goal on Boston As at the end of 1, it's the Mets 3 and the Red Sox nothing. And Ron Darling now has a 3-run lead to work with, as he will come out and face catcher Rich Gedman to start the top of the second. So Rich Gedman, 2-7 for Gedman. That's a ground ball, first base A. So ground ball to Keith Hernandez. 1 away. Gedman is retired. Here's Dave Henderson, picked up from Seattle. Mid-season trade. 5-2 off of Darling. That's a ground ball back to Darling. Easy 1-3 ground out for out number 2. So Hindu is gone. And that brings up Spike Owen, who was also acquired as part of that same trade from the Mariners. Spike Owen, switch hitting shortstop. 4-3. 4-3 for Darling. Ground ball first base X. That is Keith Hernandez. Hernandez is a 1 E6. So 1 and a 10, I think, is going to go to an error check. 1 and a 10 will go to an error check. He is an E6. So I'm going to roll 2 D6s to check this E6. It's a 5. So first baseman E6 and a 5 is a ground ball ace. It's a good play for Keith Hernandez. So easy inning. All meek ground balls by the Sox, as Darling, impressive here in the second. Keeps that 3-0 lead going. Hurst back out, and he's going to be facing the pitcher, Ron Darling, who's going to hit off pitcher hitting card number 1. So Darling against Hurst. 1-7, that's a strikeout. So Ron Darling with the strikeout. Back to the top of the order for Mookie. Mookie grounded to short his first trip. 2-4 against the lefty. 2-4. Ground ball to short. Again, if we were playing the ballpark effects, it'd be a chance for a single, but we're not. So it's simple 6-3 ground out, and that's what he did the first time up. So he's hit 2 ground balls to Spike Owen. 2 up, 2 down for Nails. Lenny Dykstra struck out his first chance. 6-5 against the lefty. Ground ball back to Bruce Hurst, and that's an easy inning this time for Hurst. So maybe he has settled in a little bit now. 1-2-3 inning might help him do that. At the end of 2, still the Mets 3 and the Red Sox nothing. Darling back out, and Bruce Hurst, who's hitting off pitcher hitting card number 1, will lead things off. 5-4. Hurst is a lefty batter. 5-4, and look at this. Bruce Hurst is going to get a big hit. He's obviously not going to hit a home run. He's a weak power. So 1-9 would be a single. 10-20 is a double. So how about this? Bruce Hurst. Chance to do some damage. A 4 is a single. So Bruce Hurst, leadoff single for the Red Sox because he got it off the pitcher hitting card. So he got a break there. That'll bring up Wade Boggs, top of the order. Obviously Hurst not going anywhere, not being held. 2-9. 2-9 for Boggs. Ground ball second base A, that's a double play, 4-6-3. So that will certainly erase Mr. Hurst. Quickly now 2 away, base is clear for Marty Barrett. 2-3. 2-3 for Barrett is a solid single. There's an omega there, but we're not doing clutch. Plus it's not even a clutch situation. But we're not doing clutch, period. So it is a base hit for Barrett, a 2-out single. Barrett is a B stealer, so we have to think about potentially trying to run, perhaps. Carter's got a 0 arm. So if we go to our chart, or the book for stealing, a B stealer, you deduct 3 for being held. So his steal rating is a B, which starts him as a 15, minus 3 for being held would make it a 12. So it'd be a 1-12 to try to steal and get in scoring position, but they're down 3-0, so that's going to also play into it. They're going to go and let Buckner swing away. 6-4, 6-4, catcher X. The catcher is Carter. He's a 1. And that's a 10. That might be an error check. Let's take a look here. 1-10 is an error check. Carter's error rating is a 3. And that's a 6. So a 3 and a 6 is a ground ball C. So it's good play for Gary Carter. A little number in front of the plate. Carter pounced on it easily, throwing out the slow running Buckner to end the inning. So a couple of hits, but a double play puts the kibosh on a lot of things. And didn't put my zeros in for the second inning. Do that now. So we go to the bottom of the third. Still 3-0. Favor of the Mets. And it'll be Keith Hernandez to lead it off for the Mets against Mr. Hurst. Hernandez got everything started in the first with a base hit. 6-8. This time he will strike out. So Keith Hernandez down on strikes. Brings up Gary Carter. 3-6 against a lefty. He's going to ground to third. Easy play by Boggs. And that's 2 up and 2 down. For the straw man, Darryl Strawberry had that big RBI single to get him going. 6-2. He will hit a fly ball left field X. That's Jim Rice. Rice is a 3, E8. 3 and a 13 for a left fielder. He might make that play. 3 and a 13. Nope, 13's in the error range. So Rice's error is an E8. Let's roll for an E8. It's a 7. E8 and a 7 is a fly ball B, so it's a good play. Good play there by Jim Rice. And the Mets go down in order. 1, 2, 3. So after that first inning, Hurst seems to have settled down nicely. And we got ourselves a pitching duel through 3 innings. It is the Mets 3, Red Sox nothing. Now it's up to the Red Sox to try to get something going for themselves. And it'll be Mr. Jim Rice, the leadoff hitter of the inning, cleanup hitter. Be Rice, Evans, and Gedman against Darling. 1-8. 1-8 for Rice against the right-hander. Grounds to short. Handled by Santana. 1 away. Brings up Dewey Evans. Evans his first time up with a strikeout victim. 1-6. He's going to be a strikeout victim again. So Evans 0 for 2 with 2 Ks. Not off to a good World Series. Here's Gedman. 111. 111 is a 2-out walk. So Gedman, a 2-out walk, and he's an E-stealer, so he will not even be held. And that brings up Dave Henderson. 6-7, and that's a ground ball shortstop X. That's Santana. Can't really see it. I kind of messed up his writing there. He's a 2 E23. So 2 is his range. And that's a 5. He should make that play. A 2 and a 5 is a ground ball out. So ground ball C, it's all they needed. With it being the third out, the C doesn't matter. And that's it for the Red Sox. They go pretty meekly here in the fourth. We go to the bottom of the fourth. Still 3-0 favor of the Metropolitans. All right, so Bruce Hurst back out. And he'll be facing Ray Knight. 6-4. 6-4 is a ground ball third base X. That's Boggs. Boggs is a 2 E21. 2 and a 15. I believe he'll make that play. 2 and a 15 barely. It's ground ball A, but a 14 would have been an error check, but a 15 is a good play. And Boggs to Buckner, 1 away. Brings up Tim Tuffle, and he's in there against the lefty. Would have been Wally Backman against a righty, but Backman doesn't hit lefties very well, so Tuffle's in there. 6-10. 6-10's a fly ball center field X. That's Dave Henderson. He's a 2 E9. 2 and an 18. I'm pretty sure that's going to be a good play for a center fielder. A 2 and an 18 is a fly ball C. So good play for Henderson. 2 up, 2 down. That brings up the number 8 hitter, Rafael Santana. He would like to get on just so you can clear Darling. 3-7 against the lefty, but he's going to strike out, so Darling's going to have to lead off the next inning. So that's it. Hurst has really settled down since that bad first inning. 4 innings in the books. We go to the 5th here at the Mets Stadium Shea. Even though we're not doing ballpark effects, it is 3-0. We go to the top of the 5th. Spike Owen will lead things off, followed by Hurst. 5-8. Switch hitter batting left. 5-8 is a strikeout. So Darling puts the K on Spike Owen. That'll bring up Hurst. Remember, he singled off Darling's card his first time up. 4-2. Left-handed batter, 4-2, struck him out. So this time he's out on strikes. 2 down for Wade Boggs, top of the order. 1-7 for Boggs. That's a split chance. 1-15 is a double. 16-20 will be a single. It is a single, 2-out single for Wade Boggs. He's not going to go anywhere. He is an E-stealer. He will not even be held. And Marty Barrett with a chance to keep the inning going for the Sox. 4-9, struck him out. So couldn't get it done. He got the single, but that was it. Boggs stranded. We go to the bottom of the 5th. Still 3-0 in favor of the Mets. And Bruce Hurst back out. And Ron Darling will lead things off for the Mets. 3-3 against a lefty, but it's on the pitcher card, doesn't really matter. 3-3, I'm sorry, pop out to short. So 1 away. Back to the top of the order for Mookie Wilson. 5-11. 5-11's a base hit to right field for Mookie. And he might be looking to run. He is a A-stealer, which means he starts out at a 15. And an A-stealer, with it being held, he loses 2 points. So that would make him a 13. The catcher, Gedman, is a -3, so that would make it a 10. So Mookie Wilson, a 1-10 chance. They're going to go ahead and take that chance. When you're up 3-0, you're playing with house money. So 1-10, he'll make it. He does not. He gets caught. So caught stealing. Took a chance, didn't work. Gedman, good arm, threw him out. And we go to Lenny Dykstra now with 2 outs and the base is clear. But Davey Johnson trying to be aggressive, just didn't pay off. 1-5 for Hurst against Dykstra as a fly to right. And down go the Mets here in the 5th. So goose egg since that first inning. We go to the 6th. Still 3-0 Mets. And if you're looking at fatigue for the starters, Bruce Hurst has a 6 and Darling has a 7. So bottom of the inning, Bruce Hurst will be potentially looking at his point of weakness. But Darling is fine right where he is. He's got another 2 innings to go. Here's Buckner. Billy Buck. 5-6 against Darling. It's a left-hander. 5-6 is a base hit. So Bill Buckner starts out with a base hit. Of course, he will not be running or be held. And that brings up Jim Rice. Rice, 6-7. Ground ball shortstop X, that's Santana. He's a 2. E23. 2 and a 3. That could be interesting. 2 and a 3 is a ground ball C. So the runners, I'm sorry, looking at third base. 2 and a 3 is the same thing for the shortstop, ground ball C. So he will make the play, but Buckner will go to second. So Buckner goes to second with 1 out for Dewey Evans. He's in scoring position for Dewey. Although Evans has struck out twice. 4-8. He's going to strike out again. So hat trick for Dewey Evans, unfortunately for him. He's struck out all 3 times. So it's up to Rich Gedman. 2 outs. And Buckner at second. 4-5 for Gedman. He's going to fly to left. And they leave Buckner stranded at second base. So Ron Darling, 6 shutout innings of sterling pitching here at Shea in game 1. Now Hurst, this will be his point of weakness beginning, so if he gives up any combination of 3 hits and unintentional walks, he will reach his fatigue. And once he reaches his fatigue, then all these little dots will change the outs to hits. So here's Keith Hernandez. 1-6 against the lefty. He will fly to center. So Hurst is gone. Probably Hurst's last inning anyway, because he is scheduled to bat third next inning. So you're going to pinch it for him most likely anyway. So he just wants to get through the inning unscathed. Here's Carter, 3-6. Ground ball to Boggs, and that'll be 2 quick outs So look at this. Hurst has, well, he had to give up a single here, but other than that single, he's retired everybody since the second inning, or since the last out of the first inning, actually. So he's really, really pitching well. Just got dinged by that first inning, maybe first inning jitters. Here's Strawberry, 6-5 against a lefty. Ground ball back to Hurst, and that's going to end the inning. 1-2-3, easy inning for the Red Sox and Hurst. And I think that's going to do it for Hurst because they're going to need a pinch hitter. And you're down 3-0. You got to go for the offense. So let's look at the bench for the Red Sox, who they have available. Lefty batters, really only one. That's Mike Greenwell, rookie Mike Greenwell. And I don't know if they want to use Mike Greenwell. I think they're just going to go ahead and use Don Baylor because he's the DH most of the time. So may as well use Don Baylor in that role. So Don Baylor will be pinch hitting for the Red Sox. And the new pitcher for the Red Sox in the bottom of the seventh. Let's see what a lot of right-handers coming up. So it looks like it will be Steve Crawford, the right-hander. Right-hander Steve Crawford will be coming in for the Red Sox in the bottom of the seventh. Right now, Dave Henderson, Hindu, is going to lead things off to see if he can't get something going against Ron Darling. This will be the start of his point of weakness inning for Darling. Here's Henderson, 4-5, fly ball to right, and that's an easy play by Strawberry, one away. Henderson is out of there. Here's Spike Owen. He's 0 for 2. 4-4, he's a switch hitter batting left. Fly ball center field X, that is Dykstra. Dykstra is a 2E5. 2 and a 17, that'll be a good play. I'm not even going to check it. I know it's a good play when you get a D20 that high. So it's 2 down. And now we're looking at Baylor pinch hitting. See if he can't get it. Might as well see if he can try to home run. That's about his only chance here. Get that column 2, he could do it. Nope, we're actually off Darling's card, 6-8. Struck him out. That's going to end the inning. So it didn't matter who they sent up, he was going to strike out on the 6-8 result. So Baylor is done. They've used that chip, so he's no longer available. Hurst, of course, is done. So Steve Crawford will be coming on, and Darling didn't get anything on his point of weakness, so he's still good to go. Steve Crawford in 1986. Steve Crawford was 0-2 with a 3.92 ERA. So Steve Crawford, the righty, will be coming on for Hurst. Let's do some totals on Hurst before we move on. Hurst went 6 innings, and he gave up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hits, 5 of those in the first inning. 3 runs, they were all earned. He didn't walk anybody, so he had good control. Strikeouts 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Got him for 5 strikeouts. So that's the line on Hurst. 6 innings pitched, 6 hits, 3 runs, no walks, 5 strikeouts. So a quality start and with better offensive support would be in line to get a win, but when your team gets shut out, that kind of takes that out of the equation. So Ray Knight will lead things off against the new pitcher Crawford. 6-6, struck him out. So Crawford comes in and gets the K on Knight. 1 away for Tim Tuffle. And actually they may switch and bring in Backman. And that's exactly what they're going to do. Backman's a better defender, plus he hits righties better. So Tuffle is going to be replaced by Backman, who is normally their starting second baseman anyway against right-handed pitching. Backman is a 3 E30, so his E-rate is higher, but his range is better. He's a B stealer, so he runs much better. And he's a 16. All right, so Backman, switch hitter, stepping in against Crawford. And we get a 2-9. 2-9, he's going to ground to first. 2 down, and just for the heck of it, Tim Tuffle on a 2-9 would have grounded to short. So either way, that would have been an out. So Backman is gone. And now that brings up number 8 hitter Rafael Santana. 6-8. 6-8. Fly ball to left. Rice will make the play. 2 down, or that's the inning rather. 3 up, 3 down. So perfect inning for Crawford, as he does what he needs to do. He needed to do to keep his team in the game. And now Darling will be coming up. Darling is set to lead off the 8th, so they might just try to get 8 innings out of him. Although we got some lefties coming up right here, so Jesse Orosco is loosening in the Met bullpen in case Darling starts to lose it here a little bit. So Orosco is loosening. Here's Boggs. 1-3 for Boggs, a ground ball to short. Handled by Santana. 1 away, brings up Marty Barrett. 1-11. 1-11 is a walk. So Marty Barrett draws the walk. He's a B stealer, but again, you're down 3-0. You're not going to take that chance. Here's Buckner. 3-5 for Buckner, and that's a good sign for Buckner. 1-19 is a double. A 20 would be a single, but anything else is a double. And that is a double, 2 stars. So Buckner doubles, moves Barrett to third base. And the tying run is at the plate in Jim Rice. And now double-barreled action for the Mets as Roger McDowell is also loosening. So we got both their tandem closers in there warming up. Here's Rice. Infield's back. With 1 out, they give up the run to get the out. 6-11. Ground ball first base X. That's Keith Hernandez. He is a 1. And that's an 11. So we're going to his error rate, which is an E6. And we get a 9. So an E6. E6 and a 9 is a ground ball A. So ground ball A, we're playing this ground ball A, runners have to hold. So even though the infield was back, the ground ball hit to the first baseman. On a ground ball A, they had to hold. So there are 2 down for Dewey Evans. So Dewey Evans still has a shot to get it done, although he struck out 3 times. 4-5. It's a fly ball to right, and that's going to end the inning. It would have been a sac fly with less than 3 outs, or less than 2 outs rather, but didn't get it done. So Ron Darling, 8 shutout innings against the Red Sox. He solidly did the job, and he will now exit for a pinch hitter. But 8 innings out of Darling. He's obviously in line to get the win. Let's do his totals before we move on. Check his hits. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hits I've got him for. Walks, 1, 2, 3 walks. And his strikeouts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 strikeouts. So the line I have unofficially on Darling: 8 innings pitched, 6 hits, no runs, 3 walks, 7 strikeouts, and he is in line for the victory. Pinch hitting, as Crawford's going to come back out for a second inning of work. So pinch hitting for the Mets will be left-handed hitting Danny Heap. So Danny Heap is on to pinch hit, to lead off the bottom of the 8th against Crawford. Bullpen activity for the Red Sox: Joe Sambito, the lefty, and Bob Stanley, the righty, are both loosening. Right now it is Danny Heap, followed by Mookie Wilson and Lenny Dykstra. 6-7 off of Crawford for a lefty is a walk. So Danny Heap draws the leadoff walk. He does not run that well. We could see a pinch runner for Heap. Let's see if they got on the bench anybody can run. Not really. Well, actually, Howard Johnson can run pretty well, but you like to keep him for his bound. You know what? I'm just going to leave Heap in there. All right, so Mookie Wilson, the switch hitter, is up, but I believe this is going to be Crawford's last batter. With Dykstra and Hernandez coming up, it's going to be Joe Sambito. But right now, it is Mookie Wilson. He's only a D bunter, so he's not a very good bunter. So they're just going to have him swing away. 3-8. 3-8 struck him out. So Mookie Wilson down on strikes. And that's going to do it for Crawford. With the lefties coming up, John McNamara has motioned for the bullpen. And it's going to be lefty Joe Sambito, former closer of the Astros back in the day, back in the earlier 80s. So it's going to be Joe Sambito facing Lenny Dykstra. So let's get Sambito listed in here. And let's look at Crawford. He goes an inning and a third. No hits, a walk, 2 Ks. Can't close the book on him because Heap, the pinch hitter Heap is on base, is his responsibility. So Sambito trying to strand that runner. So Sambito lefty on lefty against Dykstra. 111. That's a base hit for Dykstra. 111. He got a base hit to center field. Heap, not being a fast runner, he's going to hold up at second base. So runners at first and second, 1 out for Keith Hernandez. And looks like Bob Stanley will be coming in to face Gary Carter after this. So Sambito has 1 job or 2 jobs. That's to get Dykstra and Hernandez. He failed on the first one. Can he succeed on the second one? Infield double play depth, 512 against a lefty, 512. Ground ball shortstop X, that is Spike Owen. He's a 3. And that's an 18, so it should be a, oh, that was an 18, I moved it. So it should be a double play. 3 and an 18 is a ground ball A. So it is a double play, 6-4-3. And that will retire the side. So they won't need Bob Stanley after all unless they score 3 runs or more in the 9th. So Sambito finishes it out, keeps his team, hopefully for his sake, in the game. But you can close the book on Sambito because he would not go anymore anyway. 2/3 of an inning, gave up a hit and nothing else. And now, for the Mets, it'll be Jesse Orosco to try to close it out. Jesse Orosco facing Gedman, Henderson, and Owen. So Jesse Orosco. And Orosco will be coming on. And he'll be facing Gedman, Henderson, and Spike Owen, although you might see a pinch hitter for Spike Owen. That's very possible. And if somebody gets on, we're at the pitcher spot, so we definitely get a pinch hitter for Sambito. Right now it is Gedman in there, lefty on lefty against Orosco. 4-9 for Orosco against the lefty, struck him out. Against the righty, he would have walked the batter, but against the lefty, he gets the K. So 1 away, and Mets 2 outs away from a shutout victory in Game 1. Here is Dave Henderson. 5-11. That's a base hit off of Orosco. Dave Henderson keeps it going. Gets the base hit. He's a D stealer. He will not go anywhere. And now Spike Owen, who only hit .231 on the season, could be called back. And if we look at our little board, you can see who the Red Sox have available. They've already used Baylor, but they do have Armas, Stapleton, Romero, Sullivan. So it's going to be Tony Armas. Tony Armas is going to pick up a bat and see what he can do. Tony Armas. Not a very good hitter necessarily, but best they've got on the bench most likely. .264, so not bad, with 11 home runs. So Orosco will be facing Armas, and then we'll need a pinch hitter again for the pitcher. And that's liable to be, depending on whether it's a righty or lefty, it could be Greenwell if they bring in a righty pitcher, or it could be Stapleton. So we shall see. Right now it is Armas. 5-2 against a right-hander. Fly ball center field. That's 2 down. So the Red Sox down to their last out. And it is none other than Dave Stapleton. Like I say, he's the best they've got left on the bench. So Stapleton or bust. He just wants to try to get on so that they can bring up Wade Boggs in the tying run. But right now, it is Mr. Stapleton. It's either him or Romero. They're both equally bad. But this is the best you got, so. Orozco facing Stapleton. 2-4 against a left-hander. Pops it to second, and there is your ball game. The Mets with a shutout victory in Game 1 of the World Series, defeating the Red Sox 3-0. Hurst the loser, Darling the winner, the save to Orozco. Orozco gave up a hit, nothing else, got a strikeout. So we'll do our totals. And for the Red Sox, no runs on 7 hits and no errors. For the Mets, 3 runs on 7 hits and no errors. Left on base, Red Sox left 2 here, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. They left 9 on base. And the Mets left 1, 2, 3, just 3 on base. So the Mets did all their damage there in the first inning. After that, it was pitcher's duel all the way. So Game 1 is in the books. The Mets have done it with that victory. Game 2 will be moved to APA, and it's still going to be in New York. And I didn't write down the pitching matchup in front of me, so I don't have it with me. But I'm thinking, well, I don't know if Roger Clemens pitched in Game 2. He might have pitched in Game 3. I don't remember. Don't have it in front of me. So we'll just have to figure it out once we get there. But it will be in APA, and I'm going to be doing APA, not basic, but APA with the Merino boards, so that we can use the left-right splits to go with the game as well. Now, when we get to Status Pro, that's a basic Status Pro game, so I don't have lefty-righty splits on that. And when we get to History Maker Baseball, that's a lefty-righty split, so I don't have the splits on that. It's a basic game as well. But in the Strat-o-matic and the APA, we will be using the lefty-righty splits. So Game 1 is in the books. Final score, Mets on top of the Red Sox, 3-0. And like I said, next time, Game 2, it'll be APA. And but I believe the next video after this will be Manic Monday, in which I'll be unboxing 1987 Topps cello box for to see who we can get out there, so we can pull some good rookies. Barry Bonds, Bo Jackson, Jose Canseco, Barry Larkin, to name a few. And we'll see what we can get out of that. So until next time, hope you enjoy playing whatever game you choose to play, however you choose to play it. And as usual, I will see you all down the road.